I am is the shortest complete English sentence. I am. So when you wake up in the morning, you should ask yourself a few questions. Am I peaceful? I am. Am I loved? I am. Am I loving? I am. Am I lonely? I am. If the answer is I am, let me tell you, grab a book. The loneliness will vanish. It will run away. Hello, how are you? This is Heena from Team TES, and I welcome you in this session of Maharashtra Set Practice Test. I hope you are liking all our question answers along with the explanation that we give you every day. And believe me, it will help you in all the exams, including NET, right? Now, along with this, if you want an in-depth knowledge of all the topics, I suggest you take our online classes by Kalyani ma'am. These online classes come for a rate of 10,000 rupees. They are along with ma'am, and she's going to talk to you. She will explain you things. She will answer all your queries and doubts. Now, along with this, there is another course that you can go for, which is recorded classes. Okay, so you get a lifetime recorded class of all the details of every period of English literature, right? And that course comes for 4,000 rupees. I thought I'll give you this information because it is definitely needed and I'm sure you must be in search for it. चलिए अब आज का सेशन चालू करते हैं. 15 questions, 15 answers, obviously सबके पीछे कुछ explanation, and am I excited? I am. Question number 1 on your screen. Ripeness is all is a line from option A, King Lear, B, Hamlet, C, Othello, or D, Macbeth. Ripeness is all is taken from option A, King Lear. Well, a Shakespearean tragedy which has a dark and depressing tone. Now, who says these lines? It is Edgar. And what does he say? I'll tell you. Men must endure their going hence, even as they're coming hither. What does it mean? जो आया है उसे जाना है, यही है रीत दुनिया की. It talks about the inevitable death, right? आगे बढ़े to question number 2. The Woman in the Moon is a play written by one of the following playwrights. Option A, George Peele, B, Thomas Lodge, C, Thomas Nash, or D, John Lilly, जिसे हम लिली भी बोलते हैं, but I feel it is Lilly, John Lilly. So The Woman in the Moon is a play written by option D, John Lilly. Well, he lived from 1553 to 1606. He was an English writer and a university wit. He's very famous for his euphues. है ना? चलिए अभी इस play की तरफ आते हैं. The Woman in the Moon, which was published in 1597. It is an astrological comedy in which there are planets as characters. Imagine a little bit about this play. The protagonist is Pandora. She's considered to be the first woman on Earth. Now, all the other planets, the 7 planets, are angry with Pandora because their qualities are gifted to her. They are mad, because of which now it is the time to demonstrate their power. And when they do it, Pandora becomes mad. In the end, what happens? Nature intervenes and punishes Pandora's husband, Stesius, okay? Stesius, because he's gullible. And, it's said that he should become her slave and follow her in the moon, right? Now, this story is actually taken from Greek mythology. Look at that cover on the screen. The Woman in the Moon, as it was presented before Her Highness by John Lilly, Master of Arts. Good enough? Question number 3. Richard Glover's Admiral Hosier's ghost is, again, Richard Glover's Admiral Hosier's ghost is option A, a sonnet, B, an epic, C, a poetic drama, or D, a ballet. What is it? Well, the answer is option D, a ballet. Now, Richard Glover was a poet and a politician from England. He lived from 1712 to 1785. Now, in this book, he has talked about an Admiral Hosier, whose name was Francis Hosier. Now, Francis actually rose through the ranks of British Navy in the year 1685. But then something unfortunate happened, and he died alongside thousands of other sailors who were under his command in the Caribbean Sea. This disaster has been demonstrated by Richard Glover in Admiral Hosier's Ghost, published in the year 1740. And look at this cover on the screen. Good enough? Let's move on to question number 4. I think the battery of my laptop. Wait, I'll just start it. Let me just plug in, otherwise I am going to plug out. 1 second. Oh, okay, here we are. Question number 4. Who has propounded the theory of the association of ideas? Your options are A. J.S. Mill, B. Edmund Burke, C. Charles Darwin, or D. John Locke. The association of ideas, you know, it is connected with John Locke, and he spoke about it in his essay concerning human understanding of 1700. Locke is called as the father of liberalism. He was an English philosopher and a physician who lived from 1632 to 1704. कितना बढ़िया है ना, physicians हैं, politicians हैं, और writers भी हैं. So writing can be done by anybody. It should come from heart, right? अब मुझे बताइए, what is association of ideas? Its definition is sometimes our mind unintentionally connects one idea to the other. I'll give you an example. You'll understand it in a beautiful manner. I have my child in my hand every night and I sing him a lullaby. Okay. The lullaby is because of which he falls asleep. One day I do not sing that lullaby and my child cannot sleep. It is dark. The room is dark. It is night. Still, my child can't sleep. Why? Because I did not sing the lullaby. My child has connected the idea of lullaby with the idea of sleeping unintentionally. This is called as association of ideas. Easy. Let's move on to question number 5. Geoffrey Crayon Gent is the pseudonym of the American writer. Your options are A. Washington Irving, B. Mark Twain, C. James Fenimore Cooper, or D. William Cullen Bryant. Geoffrey Crayon Gent is the pseudonym of option A. Washington Irving, who lived from 1783 to 1859. Now, he wrote a book which was called, look at your screen, the sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon Gent, in which he wrote 34 essays and his famous short stories like Rip Van Winkle and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, now in this work, he used this pseudonym for the first time, and then he used it throughout his literary career. Geoffrey Crayon, Washington Irving. एक ही है. Let's move on to question number 6. The novel, The Bone People, deals with the natives of option A, Australia, B, New Zealand, C, Canada, or D, England. The Bone People deals with the natives of option B, New Zealand. And who has written it? Keri Hulme. She was a New Zealand novelist, poet, and a short story writer. Even she had a pen name, okay? It was Kai Tainui as Keri Hulme, or Keri Hulme as Kai Tainui. Now, this novel won the Booker Prize in 1985. And if I tell you a little bit about the Bone People, it talks about 3 people. One is an artist, the other is a mute child, and the third one is the foster father of this child. How their lives get connected. Now, along with this, the Bone People also talks about Maori culture, Pekehi culture. These are New Zealand European cultures. Okay? And look at this cover on the screen. Good enough? आगे बढ़ें, question number 7 पे. For Aristotle, tragedy is an imitation of action, which is serious, complete in itself, and having a certain. Your options are A, attitude, B, magnitude, C, length, or D, intention. It is option B, magnitude, right? Tragedy is an imitation of action which is serious, complete in itself, and having a certain magnitude. Aristotle discussed it in his Poetics. Now, few important things about tragedy which Aristotle said are, first, plot is the soul of tragedy, followed by character. Second, tragedy is an imitation of action and life, not of men. Third, goal of tragedy is not suffering, but the knowledge that comes from it. Okay? Acha, आगे बढ़े. Question number 8. Edward E. Said's Culture and Imperialism of 1993 deals with one of the following central themes. Your options are A, the image of the Oriental in literature, B, the theory of colonialism, C, the development of novel as a vehicle of imperialism, or D, the colonizers' civilizing mission. Culture and Imperialism talks about, the answer is option C, the development of novel as a vehicle of imperialism. पहले तो आप देखिए साइद जी को, मैं हमेशा इनका फोटो लगाती हूँ अपने वीडियो में because I really like him and I find him very smart. And दूसरी तरफ I have kept the book cover Culture and Imperialism by Edward W. Said. A little bit about Said. We know he's the founder of post-colonial studies, and he was a Palestinian-American professor at Columbia University who lived from 1935 to 2003. His book, Culture and Imperialism, actually is a collection of essays, and it shows a connection between culture and imperialism throughout 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. Okay. अभी मैं culture की Edward Said की line में बताऊं तो, you know, what does he say? He says that literature has the power to narrate or to block other narratives from forming and emerging. So here, ये जो novel है ना, it means literature, Western literature, which has been used as a vehicle of imperialism. When the English people came, they told, you know, oh, you're not civilized. Oh, you're not well read. Come on, we will give you our culture. We will give you books to read. So they use the literature, the novel, as a vehicle of imperialism. And that is culture and imperialism. Okay? Question number 9. The expression cold fire is an example of, मैं तो इसके ऑप्शन भी नहीं दूंगी और आपसे आंसर पूछूंगी. ये तो आपको आता है, 10th class question है. Cold fire is an example of option D, oxymoron. A figure of speech जिसमें दो contradictory words को एक साथ रख दिया जाता है. For example, seriously funny, half full, pretty ugly, a cold fire, right? Let's move on to question number 10. ये है assertion or reason. तो पढ़ते हैं, very easy. The questions given below, you know it, given of two statements, assertion and reason, indicate your answer. Ab assertion kya hai? Language learning is largely based on the application of what is taught or read. Absolutely correct. जो पढ़ाया जा रहा है, उसको apply नहीं करेंगे, तो फिर एक नई language कैसे सीखेंगे? So application is important. Reason kya hai? It is only through experimentation that the students become able practitioners of language. Experimentation matlab application. So because application is important, experimentation is important to learn a language, right? तो बताइए कौन सा ऑप्शन सही होगा, A, B, C या D? The answer is A, which means both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of A. Did you get it? Yes, you got it. Let's move on to question number 11. Beckett was a play written by, your options are A, Pirandello, B, Jean, how do you pronounce his name? Jean-Louis, C, T.S. Eliot, or D, Arthur Miller. अभी जो नाम सबसे डिफिकल्ट था वही आंसर है. Option B, Jean-Louis. Now, I have written here Beckett or the Honor of God. That is the complete title of the play. It was published in 1959 in French and later it was translated in English. Jean-Louis के बारे में बताऊं तो he was a French dramatist who lived from 1910 to 1987. He became a prolific writer after World War II. And his works actually maintain integrity in a world of moral compromise. ये जो play है Becket, it shows the conflict between Thomas Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and King Henry II of England, which led to the assassination of Becket in the year 1170. अभी यही story किसमें बताई गई थी? T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral, right? Let's move on. Question number 12. Om Prakash Valmiki's Joothan has been translated into English by option A. Girish Karnad, B. Shanta Gokhale, C. Bikram K. Das, or D. Arun P. Mukherjee. Who translated Joothan from Hindi to English? It is option D. Arun Prabha Mukherjee. Hindi mein it was published in 1997 and English mein in 2003. Joothan is actually Valmiki's autobiography and it is considered a milestone in Dalit literature. Okay, now the narrator actually tells us about his very difficult childhood days. Why? Because he belonged to this backward, outcast Chura community. I'll tell you a few lines from Joothan so that you'll get a feel of what this work is about. It says, the pigs wandering in narrow lanes, naked children, dogs, daily fights. This was the environment of my childhood. If the people who call the caste system an ideal social arrangement had to live in this environment for a day or two, they would change their mind. Yeah, here is the cover of the book in Hindi. Aage badhe. Question number 13. Nita Torane. Nita Torane's Living contains multilingual translations of each poem in a collection from the state. Your options are A. Goa, B. Maharashtra, C. Karnataka, or D. Kerala. Nita Raghunath Torane, that is her name. A Marathi poet, writes in Marathi, wrote Living. It contains translations of poem in a collection from the state. Goa, go Goa. Okay. Next question. Question number 14. In English, nouns are generally accented on A, the second syllable, B, the first syllable, C, the middle syllable, or D, the last syllable. Bolo? Ek noun bolo. Ram. Then table. Kaha aa raha hai? The accent or the stress? It is on the first syllable. Well, actually, this is a full topic, which is syllable stress in nouns and verbs. It says that when same word is used as a noun and a verb, the stresses change. When it is used as a noun, the stress comes on the first syllable. But when it is used as a verb, the stress comes on the second syllable. I'll give you an example. एक word लेते हैं object. ठीक है? पहले अपन object को use करते हैं as a noun. Okay? तो मैं क्या बोलूंगी? Where is my object? The objects I use for seeing far away things. Where is my object? Ob पे हमारा stress आ रहा है first syllable. अभी अपन object को verb बना देते हैं. Okay? बहुत funny है line from Bollywood. I object, my lord. I object, my lord. इसमें stress कहाँ आया? Inject, which is the second syllable, right? So noun में the stress comes in the first syllable, verb में the stress comes in the second syllable. Okay? This takes us to the last question of the day. Which of the following novels deals with the subject of Sepoy Mutiny of 1857? Option A, The Siege of Krishnapur, B, The Passage to India, C, Kim, or D, Coolie. Sepoy Mutiny of 1857 is discussed in, the answer is option A, The Siege of Krishnapur, published in 1973. And look at the cover. Who has written it? J.G. Farrell, James Gordon Farrell. Well, he was an English-born novelist of Irish descent, and he lived from 1935 to 1979, just for 44 years. The Siege of Krishnapur is the second of Farrell's trilogy called as the Empire trilogy. अब आप मुझे comment section पे बताइए कि वो दूसरी books और दो books कौन सी हैं from the Empire trilogy by Farrell. And about this book, they have already told us, it tells us about 1857, the Indian rebellion of 1857, but from the British resident's perspective. Okay, not from an Indian perspective, from the British perspective. This book won the Booker Prize for Fiction in the year 1973. और अब हो गया आज का. I hope you liked it. I hope you gained the knowledge you want, and you are gaining the knowledge that we all require for the exams and otherwise also to be confident in our lives, right? This is Heena from Team TES, and it was great being with you. I shall return again, but then the weekend is here. So ab apan milenge Monday ko. Have a lovely weekend. Take care of yourself. Bye.